I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
What's good? We're going to get into NXT from June the 30th, 2026. This was a okay episode of NXT. It could have been better, but it's alright. This was the fallout from Great American Bash. NXT right now is in a rebuilding stage, basically, pretty much. The men desperately need help. The women are solid. Very solid. One good thing that happened on this show is that Booker T, yes, Booker T, Uncle Book is back. He's back. He's been gone for like 2 weeks. I was kind of worried. My guess is maybe he was on vacation and doing some reality wrestling stuff, probably. But he's probably more than likely on vacation, so it's good to have him back because Booker T is great. He's hilarious as hell. I'm always laughing with him, literally every single week he's on NXT television. Booker T is solid. He's great. He's great. All right, so we kicked the show off with Kendal Grey. So she gets on the mic and she says that she's more nervous coming out here than talking than when she was wrestling in the main event this past Sunday. Talking is something that she's good at. And she was the girl who would hide under the desk rather than get called on to read in class. So we need to bear with her. Ever since John Cena picked her in the Iron Survivor, her life has been crazy and full of opportunities she didn't think she was ready for. Those expectations put pressure on her, but nobody puts pressure on Kendal like herself. And it's been like that since she was a young girl. Before NXT, she wasn't used to losing. In high school and college, she dominated wrestling. And let's be honest, in Evolve, she ran through that division. But in NXT, she dropped the ball and every time, and she had to deal with the self-doubt and the voices in her head, asking if she was ready, if she belonged, and if she could hang. But on Sunday, she got her answer, and this title proves it. You're damn right she is. She doesn't. She knows she doesn't look like a number champion. She doesn't look like Lola Vice. Designer dresses. She didn't have Lola Vice's designer dresses or heels. She can't sit and make a chair for more than a few minutes, and she's not going to be comfortable dressing like a Barbie. And she'll be nervous as hell every time she has to cut a promo. And she might not sound like a champion, but when the bell rings, she's damn sure going to wrestle like a champion. I like that. So Wren Sinclair showed up with a celebration cake for her bestie, I guess. So Wren says Kendal had a vision and it came true, and they both came out of the Great American Bash as champions. So it's a little mini 2-layer cake for them. So Klein Jordan shows up. She gets a pretty good reaction. She scoffed at the two of them for eating cake. When Kendal Grey finally won after opportunity, and she of course turns it into demanding a title shot and complaining about not being booked on the Great American Bash after being viciously assaulted by a lunatic. And then Tatum Paxley shows up from the barricade, and then she attacks Klein Jordan. The two of them, they begin the brawl. And Wren Sinclair and Kendal Grey, they stuffed their faces full of cake, which is kind of hilarious. No forks were needed with this. It's kind of odd. It would have been kind of cool if she had like a little, if they had forks there, because that's something that like a 5-year-old would do, not an adult. So I don't know why they did that there, but it is what it is. But okay, but it's called having some manners. Like, come on. Like, let's get real. I honestly thought with that cake being there, I thought they were maybe like throw Kalani Jordan's face in there and make her have cake on her face, but that didn't occur. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into Keanu Carver. He was backstage. He attacked Vikingo with a lead pipe and left him laying. So the referees have to stop him and everything else. So there's that. That's fine, I guess. Keanu Carver has no sense of direction, basically. He's just been there just to be there, which I don't like. I'm actually a fan of Keanu Carver. He kicks major ass. And I just don't see why they're not doing anything with him. So, whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into Izzy Dame. She's backstage staring into a monitor, complaining about how things had just gone more right for her, and she'd hold all 3 women's NXT belts now. So Zarya shows up to gloat about beating Tatum Paxley, and she picked at Izzy for losing the culling. Izzy says they're stronger than ever, and so there's some music that's playing. And Izzy opens up the locker room, and it's Lizzie Rain rocking out to a guitar solo or whatever. I'm like, what the hell? Rain says that she's having a rave, and both of them roll their eyes. So, there's that. Whatever. I mean, this is fine, I guess. Moving on from that, this leads us into Kalani Jordan. She goes backstage to look for Mr. Stone. He's not happy that he had to cancel the AAA Latin American Championship match for earlier on in the night. So he books her in a match against Tatum Paxley in the main event. So, and Kalani's none too pleased about that. All right, that's fine. Moving on, Robert Stone runs into Keanu Carver. He says that he wouldn't have lost his match if he hadn't have gotten title matches to him instead of EK Prosper. Then Robert Stone books him in a match against EK Prosper. So a rematch from last week. That's dumb. Whatever, though. Moving on from that, the Vanity Project, they defeat... Swipe Right. They defeat Dr. Wagner Jr. and his brother, Gilno. So... that's fine. It is what it is. Who cares? This is fine. We all knew this was going to happen, so it is what it is. It was funny how Booker T on commentary, he's like, which one is which? And then Vic Joseph asked him which one is which, and then he figured out who Dr. Wagner was. It was hilarious. Good shit there. Good shit, man. I love Booker T. He's awesome. He's awesome. Again, the match was all right. Moving on from that, this leads us into OTM and Birthright. They're backstage yelling at Robert Stone. Robert Stone tells them to take it one at a time. Uriah Connors complains about Swipe Right not defending their tag titles enough. They haven't done that in like 4 months, which is insane. That's not good. That is not good at all. And they want a shot. OTM shows up. They want a title match. Bronco Nima says his AAA opportunities don't concern anybody. Shawn Legacy shows up and says that he and his partner, they want a match. But Dukes is nowhere to be found. And OTM, they call him out on it. So Dark State, Osiris Griffin, and Cutler James, they show up. And they want a match. So they all continue to bicker back and forth. And then Robert Stone just makes a Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match for next week. Okay, whatever. Who gives a damn? Noam Dar and Romeo Moreno were also there. Romeo complains about being left out, but Robert Stone says they need to establish themselves as a team some more before he can get them a title match. Okay, that's fine. I actually like that. That's fine. Moving on, Jackson Drake defeats Mason Rook. because for whatever reason, Booker T's phone started ringing in the damn match, and Cam Hendricks, who we haven't seen in probably like a month and a half, he just blabbers on and says some nonsense that he's like 61% healed. It's basically trying to distract Mason Rook. And then Mason Rook ended up losing anyway to Jackson Drake with help from Swipe Right. I don't give a fuck about any of this. This was lame. This was a waste of time. This is dumb. I don't get it. And this match went on for way too long anyway. Way too long. Whatever, though. Moving on from that, this leads us into Tate Wilder. He's given EK Prosper a pep talk about his changed match, but EK Prosper is upset. He's not ready to fight. He got ready to fight Vikingo, and now he's going to fight. He's got to fight Keanu Carver instead. Wilder reminds him that Keanu Carver put him through a table last week. A little while back, and Prosper gets all fired up to fight him. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Kelly Armstrong shows up, who we haven't seen in a while. She's been missing in action. She's been MIA. So Kelly asked what she has to do around here to get some opportunities and demands. She's got next on Kendal Grey. Robert Stone says he can't do that. She asks why. He points out the whole roster thinks they deserve a title shot. And he tells her that actions speak louder than words. Okay, I actually do like this. This is fine, I guess, but again, they should have already had stuff for Callie to do, right? Kelly Armstrong is fucking awesome. And her and Kendal Grey were the two biggest standouts during their time in Evolve. So I don't understand. I mean, it was like A and B, right? You know, I don't understand why she's not really been utilized as much. And that's not good. That's really not good. That actually pisses me the fuck off. Because she's great. I'm a big fan of Kelly Armstrong. I am. Moving on from that, EK Prosper defeats Keanu Carver for a second week in a row. Bro, get real. Look, I like EK Prosper. He's great. But I don't understand what they're doing with Keanu Carver. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. So Hank and Tank, they show up. They throw Keanu Carver through the barricade, which was dumb. So they show up. So I guess they're going to have a little mini feud, Hank and Tank, against Keanu Carver. I don't really know. I don't really give a damn. Moving on. So Robert Stone and Kendal Grey, they chat backstage. Mr. Stone informs her that he's booking a fatal 4-way for the number one contenders match to the NXT Women's Number One Championship match next week. So Natty, she shows up with her entourage. She talks about how her girls are earning things nobody has earned it more than she has. My bad. So Natalya just blabbers on and says that she's an underappreciated legend, and she demands a title match. Like, what the hell? So Kendal Grey says it makes no difference to her. Robert Stone says that Kendal makes a good point. That Natalya makes a good point, and she's gonna have a title match against Kendal Grey next week. And I wanted to saw my television in half. This is so fucking lame. You mean to tell me we have to watch Natalya next week versus Kendal Grey for the NXT Women's Championship? Dumb. Our only hope is that maybe Kelly Armstrong shows up and beats the shit out of Natalya. I really don't know, man. I don't know at all. I don't. This is wild to me. This This makes zero sense to me. This is weird. I don't know, man. Hopefully this will be the first match on the show next week. We can only hope. Moving on from that, Jada Parker defeats Carmen Petrovich. So, there's that. It's fine. So Jada ended up hitting the hypnotic, and then she did the deja vu, which is the sky high. I have no idea why they stopped allowing her to use the hypnotic as a finish, but whatever. At least Jada Parker slowly but surely getting herself back together, I guess, because she's not done anything for like, a month and a half, 2 months. Moving on. So we go backstage. So Shiloh Hill, he's backstage playing with Tatum Paxley's hair for some odd reason, which is weird. What the fuck? So Tatum is kind of bummed how Great American Bash turned out, how it went for her. But she's going to get her title back. And she's happy that Shiloh Hill had a good night. She saw him go to a new place. He says that the trick is mostly being able to hide. And on LFG, he went there too much and got his tooth knocked out. Tatum's happy the fun side of Shiloh's back. Shiloh wishes her luck. And she says she's not going to need it. Kalani Jordan is. So Nico Vance shows up and says that the culling was right to get rid of the dead weight of Tatum Paxley and Shawn Spears. They're a lot stronger now. Shiloh Hill tells him not to talk about Tatum Paxley like that, and Nico tells him to keep smiling. So I'm guessing they're going to do a little mini feud between Shiloh Hill and Nico Vance, and I'm not a fan of that shit. I'm not. Shiloh, again, I like him as a character. He's okay. But wrestling, no. No. No mas. No mas. Moving on from that. So this leads us into Shawn Legacy and Dorian Von Duke's DVD. Shawn Legacy tells them that they're going to get a tag team title match next week, and they got to be on the same page. He said that it was embarrassing to talk to Robert Stone without his partner behind him. DVD says it'll never happen again. And Shawn Spears says that they got a number one contenders match, Fatal 4-Way, next week. So they're both excited about it, and they slap hands, and that was it. Okay, whatever. That's fine. Moving on, Wren Sinclair and Miles Bourne, they're backstage. They congratulate each other over their respective wins at the Bash. So Taylor Height shows up again. So Wren, she makes an excuse about how she had to leave. Miles Bourne said they had a hell of a match on Sunday at the Bash. Tavion is excited about Tank Ledger going to bat for Hank against Keanu Carver. He's now into that ride or die friendship. Miles Bourne says that he was trying to tell him that this entire time and walks off. So basically, Tavion gets frustrated by this. So again, they're going to push him going heel, which is fine. At some point in time, this title has got to come off of Miles Bourne. Look, I like Miles Bourne, but this experiment that they've been doing with him for the past like 3 or 4 months, it needs to end. And it might end probably around Heat Wave. And so maybe, there's that. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. But Heat Wave's in like almost 2 months. It's well over a month away. So moving on, this leads us into Tony D'Angelo. He gets a good reaction. He gets on the mic and he says, when you use something every day, you take it for granted. He talks about all the things he enjoyed doing with his right eye. Last week, he was sitting in an ambulance, burnt and scared, worried he'd never see out of his right eye ever again. What people don't know is all the waivers he had to sign just to make sure he could compete. The last document in that stack, he paused before he signed it. asking himself if he was willing to risk his health to defend this title. He sat there and said to himself, "You're damn right he is." I love that. He said that he showed up at the Great American Bash with a purpose, ready for war. Sunday was the definition of blind rage because he speared Naraku in the first 10 seconds and didn't let up. He said he's done with Naraku now, and his eye is going to make a full recovery. And he has a message for his next challenger. He is the master of his fate, the captain of his soul, and you've seen what he'll do to defend the title, so what will you do to take it from him? He doesn't think there's a guy in the back who's willing to swim deep enough waters to take this from him. So he goes to leave. Kendal Grey shows up, makes her entrance. They both fist bump. So Tony D'Angelo then comes back and stumbles out. Naraku follows behind him. He beats him up with a steel chair. He throws the chair into the ring, and then he hits his finish, which is an STO on the steel chair. So there's that. So Tony D also, he got misted. The poison mist. We didn't see it. We didn't get to see it, but we saw it after we came back from commercial. So that's fine there. I do like that. Good stuff. Again, clearly this feud is still going to continue on, which is fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Kalani Jordan defeats Tatum Paxley in a really good TV match. This match was very fun. I love Kalani. She continues to improve every single week. This girl is a fucking champ, and she's great. I love Kalani. I really do. She's great. She is. So, post-match, a random female jumps Tatum Paxley, and she ends up locking in a backbreaker rack. So, there's that, and that was it. So, it's Nikki Blackheart, so that's fine. I love how Vic Joseph kind of played dumb on commentary. So I like that. This is great. So clearly they're going to do a mini feud between Nikki Blackheart and Tatum Paxley, and I think once Tatum Paxley puts over Nikki Blackheart, then she'll be on her way to the main roster. So I think that's where this is all going to lead. NXT overall was okay. The women, they're doing well. They really, truly are doing well with the women. It's just the men's division is not doing well. The main event scene is okay. The mid-card is not good. The tag team division is a mess, so it's not good. NXT needs help on the men's side. And that's why I'm hoping that Mike Santana will eventually show up on NXT. I think if Mike Santana does jump ship to NXT, I think he'll be fine. I think he could easily be the face of the promotion and take the brand to new heights. I really do think he'll do well in NXT. He fits it like a glove. I know some people don't want him to leave TNA, but he needs to leave TNA. He's been in TNA for a while. He's stuck with TNA through thick and thin and everything. And now I think it's time for him to broaden his horizon and push himself even further. And he needs to do that. And I think NXT would do very well with him. I don't think that Shawn Michaels is going to mess him up. I really don't. Main roster, that's a different story. Because Triple H, he wouldn't know what the fuck to do with Mike Santana. But Shawn Michaels, he would definitely push Mike Santana to the moon. And if you really think about it, man, Tony D'Angelo needs help. I mean, it can't just be Tony D'Angelo and Naraku, right? You got to have more. So hopefully in due time, we'll end up seeing Mike Santana in NXT. But overall, NXT was okay. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.